holiday season in the sign of Aries. So this is one of my favorites because I happen to be an Aries ascendant, full disclosure. So you may get a tainted version of the Aries persona, but I feel like I'm pretty aware of my strengths and my faults, so hopefully it's not too tainted. And the Aries personality, the Aries rising is really quite different from the Aries sun, as we'll find looking at astrology. And of course the Aries moon will be quite different. But what all of these, personalities share under the Aries umbrella is that intensity, that I wouldn't call it a joie de vivre. I would call it passion. I don't know if it's the same passion as a Scorpio, who also was ruled by Mars. This is more of an immediacy. Gotta have it now. And that capability to be the warrior, as ruled by Mars, they'll be the warriors, is a strength and a weakness, because if Aries has lived many past lives in battle and they're ready to be physical in this life experience, if that is their strength, their other part of that is that newness that Aries represents, having to do with spring and the head. It rules the head, so they often are first. They want to be first. That excitement can be an impediment, actually. It's similar to how, remember in one of the last ones I said, Aquarius is so smart that it can be to their disadvantage. And they may not even be the most well-read people. They may be shortcut kind of people. Whereas someone like maybe a Scorpio or a Libra, who are a little farther down on the totem in terms of where the signs are above or below the equator, which denotes maturity and experience. Scorpio or Libra might have more of an insecurity about their intellect, and might be avid readers or essay readers, or read the news a lot, or there's more of a feeling that there's a fear of lack. But when you get up to really Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces, there's a lot more confidence in these abilities, and there's a lot more. So I'm saying Aquarius might be a shortcut taker. Now we're going back to the beginning of the whole wheel, the zodiac wheel, whereas the death that happened in Pisces is now we're being reborn again as a baby. So Pisces is an old person in their 80s, and the baby is Aries, infant, and their reality is I am, as Linda Goodwin would say. So they're here to teach about selfhood, about identity, about really individuality, as its opposite Libra. So Libra is about the relationship, the two of us, not doing anything without considering the other. Aries is really the opposite of that, where it's asking, and Aries season in general is asking us to get in touch with our unique self. So I said it could cause a detriment, similar to how their excitement could cause a detriment, similar to how Aquarius can be too smart for their own good. So Aries may not know when to not take the bait for a battle. They may approach everything as if it is a battle, and that may be a difficult sort of thing for the personality, is that need to fight. Sorry, there's a spider in my car. And that need to, be the winner can be negative. They're the opposite of peace lovers, really. They're warmongers. But the best thing about war is that it creates reform. So they are similar to Scorpio in that need to create reform and to create newness. A lot of Aries are into crafting. You wouldn't expect that. That is a very creative sign. With the third house in Gemini, there can be a dexterity, or it could be making, car work, or there's a lot of innate creativity. It's almost like someone discovering they know how to do something for the first time. So that excitement doesn't leave them in life. They can really be the kind of people who put spice into a group dynamic, spice things up. They can be very family oriented, as the fourth house is in Cancer. So everything is lining up as a universal chart. Aries is the first house. Usually Taurus is the second house. For me, for example, I actually have Gemini in my second house, which is a little bit irregular for an Aries rising. So there's variations, but basically everything, they usually, in terms of being social, do have like sort of a net of the social group of people that are from different walks of life. Uranus and Aquarius. Aquarius in the 11th house. Because they have that there. So there's an accepting nature to Aries. There's also really a dislike of artifice and that we keep getting back to how it's so opposite Libra. Libra wants to keep the peace. Libra wants to gain admirers. It is similar in the goals because Libra is here to initiate, and so is Aries. But Aries does not want admirers unless it's, unless they're they're a general in a war and they're like leading an army. Those could be some admirers they would be okay with. Yeah. Also opposition to Libra here. So Libra is about that often is very skilled at getting joint resources from people, from others, from situations. So is Virgo, so is Scorpio. But because of where Scorpio is hitting all of their charts, Aries may have more of a mindset of I'm on my own, and I'm on my own and I'm leading a battle. So they can be very solitary people. So depending on where the decan is, that will affect the solitary nature. If you are in the Aries, you may be a real loner who finds it hard to fit into groups. If you're a Leo decan, you may have more of that typical Leo relationship with groups where people are sort of coming to pay homage to the king. So you may have a little bit of a following there. If it's Aries, the Sag decan, that may open up for a little more sociability that's not as, it's a little more mutable because Sag is a mutable sign. What else about Aries? It has a real reputation for being, I guess I said warmonger. I guess that could be seen as bad, but it can be actually really like a sign that is channeling energy very quickly. So they can have a real physicality to them. Sports, exercise, maybe just walking fast. I was going to say they have sort of a negative bent, a negative reputation for being these hotheads, these crazy hotheads who are like obsessed with exercise. Maybe that's how they're stereotyped in the zodiac. But Aries actually is a quite sensitive sign. And if we think of people who are empaths versus people who are just highly sensitive, empaths might not always be in a great mood because they're picking up the feelings of others. So with the 12th house in Pisces, Aries does have a lot of, I guess we could call it hidden feelings, because they're showing their rough exterior, but also there could be hidden talent with Aries, hidden abilities that could be artistic, and also there could be like a real, actually, oversensitivity and a past where they were, playing victim in their lives, which you can see that creates how the first house Aries with the 12th house in Pisces, they're embodying power because in the past life they may have felt powerless. Second house Taurus, or for me Gemini, the second house in Taurus, these people can be very successful, and their home may be very luxurious. They do like luxury. How they feel good about themselves is by relating to money and sensuous pleasures. Yeah, what else? Let's say a little bit more. I think that negative capacity to be a hothead is unfair, because it can be a sort of docile side, actually, where the hot-headed nature doesn't come out as much, especially, I would say, Aries sun. I would say Aries moon and Aries rising can be more sort of up and down in their moods, their emotions, and the Aries rising can be really sort of a dictator at times with people. But the Aries sun can be more innocent. They may not know if they're harming others. They may not have awareness that they've harmed others. And Aries sun can be even gentle and quiet, more so than the Aries moon and rising. Because think of like a newborn. They are embodying more of that experience. It's almost like, I have fingers, I have toes, and then the whole world is filled with this sense of discovery and beginnings. And I talked in one of the other videos about that Zen idea of the beginner's mind. And I guess Aries does have that. I mentioned they were some Aries can be into crafting before. Also literature, they can be heady people. They can be, leading with the head. So it is a fire sign, which denotes passion and creativity and intensity and extroversion. But there can be a sort of intellectuality that is different from Leo and Sagittarius. Sagittarius is the philosopher. Leo is the artist of the fire signs, and really in the chart in general, and the actor, Leo. And then Aries is the ram, who is, if we think of rams, they're going head first into situations, and so that can be so with reading and books and with ideas and with philosophy. Remember, if their chart is universal chart, they'll have Sagittarius. Since that is their chart, they'll have Sagittarius in the 9th house. So there can be a philosophical bent where they're like, they're making these comments about the world from a very pure, fresh mind that has not been corrupted. So a problem with that innocence, though, is that that's where the anger comes in. Because when we're a little baby knocking around in the world, we're going to be sure to get some bruises from people emotionally and physically, and just from the world. So in terms of when it reaches the hothead level, those could be times when they've, think of a little baby who's uncomfortable. So just to contextualize it a little bit, but in general, I think it's a great sign. I think that it gets a bad rap for being self-absorbed and egotistical. Really, it's so maybe overwhelmed by the experiences and that energy that they have within, that they just want to jump on life. They want to attack it. They want to, sometimes there's not a situation in life that's offering that to us. There's a lot more times where we have to be passive and lean back. So those are some lessons for Aries and some lessons for this month, and I hope you enjoyed the reading.